I mean, the 49ers have like some very lofty goals. I mean, George Kittle said it best at the sideline, it's comeback season. It has to be. It's pretty much Super Bowl or bust. They're not going to say it out loud, but it's pretty much Super Bowl or bust. What do you think about it? Do you think, they can match it? And where do you see maybe this team going right, maybe going differently than last year? And just in general, some 49ers talk.
I think they should absolutely have that mentality. If they weren't talking about Super Bowl or bust, I'd be concerned. I'd be like, man, are they going to have a Super Bowl hangover if they don't have the confidence to throw out that's their goal? So I love it. Like, absolutely. I've been playing organized sports since the age of 4 years old. And how I thought before every season is, we're going to go get the championship. Doesn't matter what the roster looked like, we're going to go get the championship. And with the 49ers, it's different because they have a championship roster. They were there last year. They were 7 minutes away.
Sure.
Unfortunately, it was a whole team collapse. And so they should absolutely say that. And you could tell just based on their actions, the way they carry themselves in practice, in the meetings, they're absolutely focused on Super Bowl or bust. And they didn't have the departures that, say, like the Rams did the year after. Or I just see them as differently built. It hasn't really been a Super Bowl hangover since 2010 or so. We had the Panthers that just Cam Newton, and they had injury collapse. You had the Rams with injury collapse. I think it's only been about 2 teams over the past 10 years. So when it comes to a hangover, I'm not too concerned about it, and I think they should absolutely be striving to say, we're getting back to the Super Bowl, and we're going to win it this time.
Yeah, that's the hope,
Dude, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think you bring up a good point with the roster. The whole point was like, it feels weird to me that almost like in the mainstream media, it feels like the 49ers kind of lucked into the Super Bowl, and it's always been like this contenders kind of thing. And then we saw that with Tom Brady rumors in March, and then Earl Thomas rumors even now. It's like it almost feels like
ridiculous.
I know, it almost feels like it's not even like a Super Bowl hangover. It's just people like, oh, the 49ers are going to be what we all expected them to be. I mean, I don't know. Fuck that. I think that's kind of bullshit. I mean, what do you – I don't know.
It's kind of like everyone said last year, oh, they're a year early. They're a year early. Okay, so if they're a year early last year, why can't they get back this year? It kind of just doesn't make sense. It's just that haterade that people like to throw out there saying that they're going to have a hangover. It's, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo has a full season under his belt now, and you're telling me he's in a decline after having an amazing win record like he does? Or like Jimmy Ward, who balled out like a top 10, top 5 safety as his first year ever as a free safety, and now he's getting year 2 at that spot. He's got Emmanuel Mosley. Yeah, Emmanuel Mosley was essentially a rookie. He had 0 defensive snaps in 2018, so they're set.
I don't get the 49ers hate, to be honest. Like, this roster is so likable compared to like the early 2010 Seahawks roster or like the Patriots roster in general. This roster is so likable. Like, everything.
One thing that sticks with me is if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong. And I think that fits perfectly with the 49ers. Like, George Kittle, we love him. Like, he's a great guy. He's great to the media. He's great to the fans. He's great to everybody. But a lot of people outside of that 49ers bubble hate him. I don't get it. It's because he's doing something completely right. He's been the best tight end in the NFL. So it's just, if you have success, hate's going to come your way.
Lemaire's got some hot takes about it. He hates the Seahawks fan with their Will Disley comparisons to George Kittle. It's like, that's like his biggest pet peeve.
I don't know why.
I mean, that's not even like close.
Dude, Will Disley by a mile. Yeah, Aaron, I'm with you all the way.
give me 16 games, and then we can have a conversation. I'm not gonna waste a tweet over that.
I mean, the fact that we're even comparing Greg Olsen, Will Disley, and Hollister to Jacob Hollister, to Jordan Reed now. Like, holy crap, Jordan Reed, George Kittle. I mean, Ross Dwelly was already a beast, and now we got Charlie Warner, who's also like, he's looking good in the run game. I mean, this is going to be it's a good tight end group. That's just the beginning of the 49ers roster. Yeah.
Like I said, it's probably the best 2 tight end. Well, second best in the NFL, because I got to give it to Philadelphia. And then second, it's got to be the 49ers. And then if you're looking at top 4 tight ends just completely on the roster, it's 100% the 49ers, because Ross Dwelly, he looks great. He beats the starters when they're doing one-on-one drills. And then Charlie Warner, not so much, but he will block the hell out of your defensive end. So it's exciting what they have at that tight end position.
I remember Dwelly, the Cardinals game, right? The second time around at Levi's.
Yeah.
He was Kittle was out. Yeah,
Right.
Dwelly was playing. He had
Touchdowns.
like 2 touchdowns, I think, one or two.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
He could
he's
play.
1,000% he can play. Yeah.
For the record, I've been a Ross Dwelly fan since the day one. Last training camp, I recognized him from afar.
Well, check my guy Grant Cohn at Sports Illustrated. He's got Ross Dwelly as his cover photo.
Yeah,
I know.
Last year on his daily 49ers training camp updates, he used to be like best Ross Dwelly and George Kittle. He used to put them up all the time. It's crazy.
I mean, let's get into that. I like Grant Cohn. He has the Nick Mullins. That's probably his most controversial one. And to be honest, I was maybe like last year, I was a little bit kept up. Like, I was 2017. Those first 5 games that Jimmy won. I was like, holy crap! I'm on the Jimmy G bandwagon. And then he got injured, and Nick Mullins came in, or CJ Beathard came in, and CJ stunk it up.
Yeah.
And Nick Mullins came in, and I don't know if it was just by comparison, but it was that. I think it's honestly just the Raiders game. I think the Raiders game, it was like, holy shit, man! Nick Mullins is the future. Let's grab Jimmy G. I'm all in for Nick Mullins. And then I remember the Giants game, and I think that's when my Nick Mullins bandwagon kind of the train fell off the tracks at the Giants game where he had like that one last throw and he just missed it. Mm-hmm. But I can see where he's coming from. But he's got some crazy takes.
His grandpa always tunes in on his live broadcast, so I feel like that has something to do with it.
I like that, but
I think it's Larry Mullen.
Yeah. I mean,
but,
CJ Beathard, I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but the very one of the first preseason games where he had like a 70-yard rushing touchdown.
Against the Chargers.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. That's like probably – CJ's a tough guy. Like he's going to get bounced. Like he's going to be hit, and he'll bounce back up. But, he just hasn't been able to put it together just yet.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I scratched my head when they originally drafted him, and I still – as far as like how early they drafted him in the 3rd round, he was probably a 6th to 7th round guy at best, 6th round. So I scratched my head when I saw a 3rd round pick by Shanahan on that one, and it just still kind of shows. I think he'd probably be off this roster if it wasn't for COVID. If we're doing hot takes, that would be my hot take. If it wasn't for COVID, he would be off the roster.
He's already coming in with the hot takes.
I mean, I think that first year was a lot of Shanahan guys, right? I mean, I remember Joe Williams was always like from the preseason, oh man, this guy's a Shanahan dude. I think, CJ Beathard's another guy. Oh, he's Kirk Cousins, the next Kirk Cousins, the Shanahan guy.
Yeah.
And I think those are 2 bad examples. But I mean, you could say George Kittle. I remember when he got drafted, he was labeled as a fullback, I'm pretty sure, on ESPN's coverage. And I was like, what the fuck? Why we have use check? Why are we getting George Kittle?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Greg Kittle.
Greg Kittle, exactly. Best tight end in the league. I mean, I regret my, initially being upset about them taking a fullback. He's definitely proven me wrong.
Yeah, Joe Williams was, oh my God. I was hyped because I remember watching him at Utah and I was like, my God, this guy balls. And then when the 49ers drafted him, I said, okay, this is going to be fun. But obviously nothing happened after that. I think once you retire, once you walk away from the game, you lose that love. You lose that work ethic that you had towards it. Like myself, I played organized football, tackle football for a long time. But once I stepped away playing from it, I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy writing about it. No way in hell I'm going to put on a helmet and shoulder pads again.
That makes sense. Yeah, that chapter is, it's a little over. But I think one thing we want to talk about is kind of the rookies. Let's look into that. Guys who are just beginning their NFL careers, kind of, they've gone through one part of football and now they're in, the most important part. I think the biggest – I mean, I was really pissed off about this Defoe. I mean, DeForest Buckner was probably one of my favorite players on the Niners.
Yeah.
He brought energy. But, we got Javon Kinlaw now. I mean, what do you see – what do you think we're going to get from Javon Kinlaw?
I loved Buckner as well. I think what he did, it didn't really go mentioned. And what I find is unfortunate is as soon as the 49ers traded Kinlaw, I saw from 49er fans on Twitter just scrolling timeline, oh, Defoe wasn't even all that, only had 6 sacks last season, this and that. I'm like, are you kidding me? He may have had 6 sacks because look at that defensive line. And then you bring in Javon Kinlaw. I think he can be a star in this league. I really do think he can. But from what we're seeing out of training camp, it's going to be hard to bring that confidence first 6 weeks of the season because he's been struggling to defeat one-on-ones against the starters. And then the guys he's beating is like front skill at center. Front skill, he's been struggling at center really, really bad. And then Tom Compton, who probably shouldn't even be on the roster. Those are the guys he's beating. But put him up against Lincoln Tomlinson. Yeah, Lincoln Tomlinson, he's good. He's a really good player, and he's pretty underrated. But Kinlaw pretty much has no chance. Again, I think he only beat him about once this whole training camp. So he's not going to be DeForest Buckner. He's going to have that learning curve. But where he has his advantages, he has Armstead on the line. He has D Ford on the line. He has Nick Bosa. So he's not worried about the double teams. That's where people get lost with Buckner, is he got double teamed the fourth most in the NFL since his rookie year in 2016. Fourth most in the NFL. So that's what enabled guys like Armstead to go ball out, because Armstead, all he has to do is beat one-on-one. So fortunately for Kinlaw, that double team is probably going to go to Armstead this year, because why would you double team a rookie? And then without showing himself yet. So why would you double Kinlaw without showing himself in the NFL? So luckily for Kinlaw, he's going to have those one-on-one matchups to kind of prove himself, to get used to the NFL style of football, because it is different with the speed. The guys you're going against, you're not just going to be able to just push around like you did in college. But he can, like I said, he can be a star in this league. It may take him 6 games to get used to the NFL, because those first 6 games, I would think, at least my expectation is, he's going to struggle. And this 49er fan base, they want immediate results.
Yeah,
sure.
So I just hope that they stay patient with him, because he's going to take at least 6 games.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think. Oh yeah. Aaron, do you want to say something? Yeah.
I mean, I'm just interested. Well, a 49ers storyline, or like a trade that happened, I was very interested in this one, because I didn't expect it to happen at all. Was when the 49ers traded for Trent Williams after Joe Staley retired, and that just like really like got me excited for the season, because that's just he was such a good player in Washington before he was held out and everything, and now he's going to come beef up the offensive line. He might even be better than Joe Staley, like if Joe Staley were to play another season. But I mean, current Joe Staley, like when he retired. But yeah, so, I'm just wondering, like, what do you think? I'm just wondering, what do you think of Trent Williams? You know, how you think he's going to help this 49ers O-line? Because him and Bosa have been going back and forth in camp too, like having battles every day. So just interested to see what you think.
Yeah, and I think that's very fortunate for Trent Williams to have a Nick Bosa to practice against, because everybody else that Trent Williams is going up against that's not named Nick Bosa is looking like a middle school, like 7th, 8th graders against the senior on varsity, is basically what it looks like. And that's just beautiful to have as your left tackle. And Jimmy Garoppolo already having a full year removed from that ACL injury, he's going to enjoy that, and he's going to love that.